Good afternoon and welcome back to the Little French Homestead. My name is Cherie. What if I told you the real secret of how to get a pantry that works? Today's topic is a 3-layer system of a prepper pantries that pros actually use. Now, forget every stereotype that you've heard about preppers. We are not talking about the doomsday bunkers packed only with rice and beans. And we are definitely not talking about the chaotic pile of cans that threaten to bury you every time you open a closet. This isn't about surviving the apocalypse. It's about making your everyday life incredibly better. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the 3-layer pantry systems that actual professional preppers and homesteaders swear by. This isn't about fear-mongering or panic buying. It's about building a smart, rotating food system that supplies you and your family. It saves you money, and it kills the stress of meal planning and keeps you prepared for whatever life decides to throw at you. Whether that's a Tuesday dinner scramble or a week-long power outage, this system completely changed on how my family runs our household, and I know it can do the same for you. Now let's be real. How many times have you found yourself staring into the fridge at 5 o'clock with zero clue on what's for dinner? Or had to run back to the grocery store for the 3rd time in a week for one missing ingredient? That constant low-level stress has just become normal. Then you see a news story about a supply chain hiccup or a big storm, and that low-level stress suddenly spikes into real anxiety as you watch the grocery store shelves empty out. The typical reaction is to either do nothing and to hope for the best, or to panic buy a weird assortment of canned goods that end up collecting dust for about a decade on your shelf. Neither is a real solution. They're just reactions, and they come from not having a system. The pro approach is simply and different. It's calm, it's methodical, and it's built on a real simple idea. The 3-layer system, think of it as your finances. You've got a checking account for daily spending, a savings account for bigger goals, and a retirement fund for the long haul. Your pantry should work the exact same way. It's a living, breathing system you actually use, and not a museum for expired cans. So let's dig into the first, and honestly the most important layer. This first layer is your working pantry, and it's the foundation for the whole strategy. This is not your emergency stash. This is the food your family actually eats. This is the food that your family actually enjoys week in and week out. It's your pasta, your tomato sauce, your rice, your canned beans, tuna, peanut butter, cereal. The goal here is to solve that daily what's for dinner panic and to give yourself a solid 2 weeks or maybe a 1-month buffer. Imagine never having to make an emergency run to the store just for a box of spaghetti. Imagine being able to shop from your own pantry for 80% of your meals. That's the kind of freedom this layer gives you. It's like having your own little grocery store right at home and at the tip of your fingertips. So here's how to build it. It's way easier than you think. For the next week, just pay attention. Notice to what you buy and what you actually eat. Look at your receipts. What are the shelf-stable things that you're always reaching for? Is it the canned rice, broth, pasta? That's where you start. The strategy here is slow and steady. This is a marathon, not a sprint. The next time you're at the store and you'll know you'll be using one of those cans of black beans this week, just buy an extra. Same thing with a box of pasta. Buy 2, put 1 away. Some people have a lot of success just by dedicating a small set amount, like $5 or $10 to a shopping trip to build out this layer. The most critical rule here is also the first in and first out rule, or FIFO. All that means is all the new stuff goes in the back and you grab all the older stuff from the back and move it forward. This keeps everything rotating so nothing ever expires or goes to waste. This layer isn't about prepping for some far-off disaster. It's about making your daily life easier, cheaper, and way less stressful. Once you've got a solid month of food that you love to eat, you're ready for the next layer of security. Okay, so here in layer 2 is where we start shifting our mindset from the daily convenience to short-term security. I call this the midterm pantry. This is your safety net for those bigger life disruptions that might last anywhere between 1 to 6 months. Think of things like a sudden job loss, a major unexpected bill, a long illness, or those regional supply issues that can make some foods crazy, expensive, or hard to find. The goal here isn't just to have more food, but to have more bulk amounts of versatile, calorie-dense foods that can stretch your supplements to your working pantry. This is where you really focus on those cost-effective staples with a longer shelf life, usually in the 5 to 10 year range. The backbone of this layer is made up of things like a 25-pound bag of rice, some beans, lentils, rolled oats, flour or whole wheat berries, some sugars, and some salts. These are the building blocks of some real meals. They are cheap, loaded with calories to keep you going, and you can always use them in a million different ways. Along with these basics, you want a good stock of shelf-stable proteins. Canned tuna, chicken, salmon are all fantastic. You build this layer a little bit more deliberately. You keep an eye out for those sales. When canned goods are buy one, get one free, that is your moment to stock up. And here's a crucial step. You have to learn to cook with this stuff. If you've never made a meal from dried beans before, now is the time to learn. Pull a cup from your bulk supply, cook it up for a dinner. Get comfortable with it. This layer can't be filled with foreign objects. It has to be food you know how to turn into meals when you're heading to the store is not an option. Now, before we hit that final layer, the ultimate insurance policy, I do want to hear from you. What is the one pantry item you always seem to be stocking up for? For me, it is canned tomatoes. They are the starting point for so many of my family meals. Drop your to-go item in the comments below. I really do like reading, and I'm always looking for some great new ideas. So the third layer and the final layer is what everyone thinks when they hear the word prepper. This is your long-term reserve, and you need to think of it as pure insurance. The food in this layer is meant to last 10, 20, or even 30 years, and it is only for a true worst-case scenario. You set it, forget it, and hope you never ever need it. The secret to this layer is all about defeating the enemies of food: oxygen, light, and moisture. This is why the staples here are incredibly low moisture foods like wheat berries, white rice, dried beans, and oats that are all packed specifically for longevity. This is where you see things like the Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers. And the process is really simple. You pour a dry good like white rice into a Mylar bag, toss a little oxygen absorber packet to suck out all of the air, and then you use a hot iron to seal the bag shut. For the ultimate protection from pest or damage, you then store those sealed bags inside a sealed food grade bucket, preferably with a gamma lid seal. You can also buy the commercially prepared freeze-dried goods. They come from big cans or pouches with usually a 25-year shelf life and can be anything from individual ingredients to complete meals. They are a bit pricey, but they offer amazing varieties and are incredibly easy to prepare. Usually you just have to add water. Now, the real magic of the 3-layer system is how each layer works with each other. It is a constant dynamic flow. You live your daily life out of layer 1, your working pantry. Each week, when you're making a grocery list, you shop your home first. Then you restock layer 1 by pulling from layer 2, your midterm pantry. So when you use that last box of pasta from your kitchen cabinet, now you can go to your storage area and bring up a new box. Then that pasta goes on your main shopping list. Then you refill layer 2 by buying the bulk whenever you see a great sale, making sure you use that 1 to 6 month supply is always topped off. And the whole time, layer 3 is just sitting there in the background, your silent guardian, your insurance policy against the truly unexpected. See, building a prepared pantry isn't about fear. It is the ultimate act of empowerment and self-reliance. It's about creating a system that frees you from the stress and the daily logistics of the anxiety and the true uncertain future. You can absolutely do this. Just start small and with a small budget. You can always increase your budget as needed. If you happen to have found this breakdown helpful and you're ready to build a pantry that actually works for you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you don't miss what's next. For your next step, check out these videos right here. Thank you so much for watching. Stay prepared, and as always, keep on cooking. Bye.